What's going on, my fellow A-plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus More Phenomenal, your stop for your Power Rangers and Super Sentai review and news right here on our Facebook page, A-Plus Opinions, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your host with the most, Adam Perez, back once again as we're set to go ahead and break down Mashin Sentai Kiramager, episode number 20, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, we finally made it to the 20s as we continue along with this brand new Super Sentai series, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for spending your Monday with us here at A Plus Opinions, guys. Happy Super Sentai Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly hope each and every one of you are certainly having a fantastic day today. Who's actually joining me here in the live chat? Let's see here. We've got Alex certainly coming through. What's up, Alec? Along with L'Oreal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, I would honestly, L'Oreal, I was thinking about you this week while I was actually watching this particular week's episode. I kept thinking to myself, man, I bet L'Oreal wishes that she was in Kakihara's shoes right about now, to be quite honest with you. So I got a little bit of an extra kick out of this particular week's episode, to be quite honest with you. I mean, listen, nothing spectacular, just another sort of fun-loving episode here of Kiramager. Again, even in episodes where it's not overpowering of as far as like a strong story arc, I still really enjoy just some of the small filler episodes, if you will, for the most part. But you know, I'm ready to kind of start getting back into sort of the thick of things when it comes to this particular series, guys. So hopefully here within the next couple of episodes, they should really start picking up the pace a little bit more so far. While I have been pleased with Kiramager, I'm really ready to even embark further into this particular story. But for the most part, I thought this episode was rather a little cute. When I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I feel like this should be like a Valentine's Day special, or like a airing sometime in like February, you know, during that time, because it definitely felt like there was certainly some love in the air. Maybe not from both sides, but at least from one person in this week's episode. So we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it with you guys here today. So let's go ahead and break it down. You know, this was a pretty, in regards to this episode, at least I should say, the Marsk Beast was rather unique. We wind up getting ourselves a glue Marsk this week, which has the ability to, just like its namesake says, has the ability to go ahead and put glue on things and stick it to people. And he was getting rather sticky, like love stickiness or whatever he was calling it. I was like, please don't call it love stickiness. Like, you're literally shooting out this white stream. And I'm like, this is, yeah, like the images and the thoughts going into my head. Like, for somebody that has a dirty mind like myself, this episode, honestly, was terrible for my mind, to be quite honest with you. But we get the opportunity to see the Marsk Beast attaching people to each other, objects to each other, whatever the case may be. In this case, though, the person that winds up really getting the brunt of everything when it comes to the Kiramagers is, in fact, Juro here. We do get to see Juro back in school, back at his high school. I don't know if he was in detention or if he was like after school projects or what, but him and three other students, one of those students we definitely have seen before, Kakihara, who we saw in episode 0, I believe, or very early on in this season, where she was kind of making fun of Juro, trying to get Juro to draw a self-portrait of her, if you will, being rather annoying at times. So she actually makes her appearance here once again in this week's episode. And we quickly come to find out that she's pretty two-faced. She's pretty two-faced. You know, she talks about the idea of having a private face and like a public face, right? This sort of fake persona that she puts on for people around her, so that people think she's just like this goody two-shoes person, right? This honor roll student person, super nice to her teacher, but clearly once the teacher winds up leaving the room, she really starts kind of giving you a piece of her mind and completely blunt and honest with you and things like that, and immediately tries to get Juro to kind of do her work for her. So we clearly get to see that there definitely is a different side to Kakihara that isn't that flattering at all whatsoever. And even some of her other fellow students wind up finding that out about her this week. And it really gets showcased extremely well here in this episode. The fact that when she does wind up getting stuck to Drew in here, and they've got to take her back to the Coconut Tower to Carrot, and getting the opportunity to meet everybody, all the Kiramagers. I really did enjoy that scene in regards to just seeing that she is fully aware of who these Kiramagers are. She knows who they are, like, independently. The fact that she knows Seo because of their popularity of her being a doctor. She's even familiar with Tomitomo as part of an esport because of the fact that her brother is huge into video games. So I love the fact that she's looking around this room and is just simply amazed by just the fame that's surrounding her, and the fact that they are in fact sort of Kiramagers. But the one person that hasn't taken down his costume to show who he really is Juru. We see Juru trying to hide his identity here from Kakihara, which I certainly don't blame him for. I mean, one, you definitely want to go ahead and keep your secret identity. But two, considering the fact of just how much crap this girl has kind of given you in high school, you have no idea what she's certainly going to say or what her point of view is going to be to find out that you're Kiramager when everybody else around her is big famous stars in their own right, right? And so we even get to see just some of her thoughts from Kakihara in here when she does find out that it's Juru. The idea of, like, I just want to thank the person that's under the mask. And when she finds out that it's Juru, the idea of thanking him is completely out of the window, right? Like she literally wanted to just see who he was for her own selfish sake, not even to necessarily say thank you, right? She has no problem sort of telling lies in order to kind of get her way. I mean, she's talking down to some of the gemstones and things like that, calling them a bunch of rocks. I did laugh when she looked at Mabushina and was like, "Oh, and the girl, the talking rock girl too." And I just absolutely loved her reaction, poor Mabushina's reaction to being called a rock girl also. But I love the fact that Kakihara really kind of gets called out on her stuff. The fact that it's like, wait a minute, like you were literally just acting a certain way a minute ago, and now you're acting this way. Like there's something phony and really, really sort of fake about you. Like what Juru honestly sees in her, I really did not know. Like, he look, listen, when it comes to Juru, he always does his best to try and make somebody feel special, make somebody feel involved, whatever the case may be. And considering the fact that Juru and Kakihara wind up getting stuck together in this episode, I get the idea of trying to necessarily convince her, like, hey, we have to work together here, right? Like, it's time for us to fight. But I think it is important also that even that moment when he is ready to fight and he asks her, I think the fact that she's being distracted by other sort of pointless things, right? The fact that she's upset that her image, if you will, that the way that she acted towards the teacher, because we did see her even talk back to the teacher, and it surprised the teacher because, again, the teacher looks at her sort of as this honorable person, but really has no idea who the true Kakihara really is. And you come to even find out at that moment when Juru wants to fight and needs her help, she's really worried about what her persona, like how people are viewing her, how her teacher's gonna view her, and things like that. So pretty annoying here in this week's episode. Like I can't even lie. Like they're, when they do go into hiding and Juru, tries to give her some support and is like, there are some good things about you. There are things that I like. You're sneaky, you're powerful, you're powerfully sneaky. No, Juru, powerfully sneaky just means AKA you're a great liar. Okay, like that's all it means. There's nothing cool about being two-faced. Like, I don't care how you kind of turn that around or switch it around. Powerfully sneaky just means really good liar. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. But I will say this, kudos at least to Kakihara for seeing something within Juru, and seeing a different perspective of Juru, to where now she herself also wants to change. And for me, I'm going to be open to that. Like for me now, at least, while I did find her annoying in here, and I felt like for the most part, all of her motivations were all for the wrong reasons until the very end, at least. Now I'm at least fascinated to see if Kakihara is going to come back into this season at some particular point in time, and if we are going to see a different side of her. Because first and foremost, the one thing that we talk about on this show a lot are the roll calls, right? It feels like everybody each week, somebody new has to sort of get involved in it. And this time we got Kakihara in here with Juru doing a brand new sort of roll call, twisting her around and things like that, flinging her above his heads, whatever the case may be. So I thought it was a really great sort of roll call and to kind of see them together. But clearly the heroism and seeing what Juru is capable of doing is certainly enough to convince Kakihara that maybe she needs to change also, that maybe it's not necessarily okay to lie anymore, to just be yourself, regardless if people are going to like you for who you are or not. You got to be truthful with who you certainly are. So this two-faced business, get this out of the way, man, because all episode long, I'm thinking, Juru, what do you see in this woman? Like, and even the things that he does see in her, I still don't get it. Like, I still just don't get it. Powerfully sneaky? Nah, you're just a great liar. That's all that means. But we'll see what happens here, guys. At the end of the day, though, if anything, I don't think it's necessarily Juru that certainly feels a certain type of way about Kakihara. I think it's Kakihara who now has certainly feelings for Juru in here. The idea that the Marsk beast was destroyed and she's still holding on to his hand and even still holding on to his hand after the actual Marsk, like the tall Marsk beast is actually destroyed. She's still trying to hold on to Juro's hand as long as she possibly can also. So he's growing on her. He's growing on her, to say the least, and I'm here for it. I will be here for it. You know, it's one of those things I don't feel like we see a lot of. I don't feel like we've seen any type of relationship or hint at anything like that here in this season so far, at least for any of our particular Kiramagers. So, well, that's not true. I mean, I guess if you want to look at Takamichi and Seiyo, I know they haven't really said anything particularly, but you know, Takamichi for the most part, he is a little flirtatious. He's a little bit open. You know, she certainly doesn't mind helping him out. Like if there has been any hints at anything, maybe between those two, but I feel like that's pretty much about it. So, you know, for me, I find it fascinating. Out of all the people to fall for Juru, that it is Kakihara. But to be honest with you, I mean, I guess when you do get to see, when you see somebody in just a certain way that you have seen them in school and haven't really given that thought to what else is going on in their lives or what else is more about those people, and then you actually get the opportunity to see them in a different environment, see how they handle themselves, see their mind state towards certain things. I can definitely see how Juru would be an inspiration to somebody to want to change. You know, I love the fact that it was Kakihara who wind up coming up with the game plan. Really stupid way to go ahead and finish off a Marsk boss this week by them using some of the glue to put all the other pieces of random things together to create this gigantic weapon, which turned out to be a hammer that they utilized on the Marsk to go ahead and destroy him. But I at least like the idea, like while the object, at least I thought was pretty stupid of what they came up with, I did think that the plan itself that Kakihara came up with was pretty cool in regards to at least being sneaky again and catching the Marsk in a trap here this week also. If there was anything else that was a little bit outlandish here in this episode to me, probably the Zord battle. The idea of sticking both the Zords back to back and then like just having it spin, like that's just a little bit too much to me. Like I don't even think that's an official configuration. Like when you go and buy these when you go and buy these toys, I don't necessarily know if there's going to be a configuration where you can put a gigantic driller and Kiramager back to back like that. Who knows? If there is, that's pretty cool. But I think even it's Shiguru or something like that even talks about the idea, like when that's about to happen, somebody says, I think this is too much. Yeah, because it is maybe just a little bit too much, a little bit overboard in regards to that particular Zord battle. But overall, you know, decent little episode. I thought it was a nice little fun loving thing here. I'm getting the opportunity to see Kakihara kind of I don't want to say falling in love with Juru, but at least finding some sort of affection towards him. I did love her photo or her drawing of Juru at the end. I thought that was pretty brilliant. Almost probably even a better artist than Juru is. But I love her representation of Juru, and I do love the fact that she too is now seeing him shine, certainly more than ever. So we'll see what happens between these two characters. But she was pretty annoying. Again, I don't see what Juru saw in her for the most part, but hopefully after this episode, she will be a changed character, and maybe seeing her pop back up again in the series won't be necessarily a bad thing during that time. But overall, guys, pretty simple episode, pretty paint by numbers for the most part. But I kind of want to know what you guys think in regards to episode number 20 of Kiramager. I don't believe I watched the preview for next week's episode. I'm probably gonna keep my fingers crossed and just jump into next week's episode completely blind. So we'll see what happens. But I'm really kind of hoping that after maybe these 2 consecutive episodes that have been relatively light for the most part, I'm really ready and eager for us to start jumping back into some solid storylines here, because we're almost technically at the halfway point of this season. So I definitely want to start seeing more and more things continue to evolve as well. I mean, granted, I feel like we've gotten some pretty meaty stuff when it comes to storyline arcs, the personal aspects of what's going on with the family. We have ourselves a brand new Kiramager and Karame Silver, but I'm ready for it to go ahead and embark on some even meatier storyline. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. Let me jump into this into the comment section with you guys and see what some of you guys are saying. L'Oreal says this episode was pretty cool, but I still think Kakihara is a, you know the drill. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, Alec will even agree with you. She was really annoying. Yeah, there were certainly parts to it that certainly annoyed me. You know, if there was, you know, one thing, a quick honorable mention I do want to say for the moment when Kakihara and them are in the command center. I loved hearing everybody try and come up with excuses as to why Juru wouldn't take off his mask and reveal himself. But my favorite was Moryu, when he turns around in his chair and he all of a sudden goes into like ghost storytelling mode, and he got the light shining on his face and stuff. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, maybe a little bit too much there, Moryu, for sure. L'Oreal says, I was so scared and I so wanted to kill that girl for calling Juru a dork. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you were probably like, don't talk that way about my man. I'm pretty sure you were, L'Oreal. L'Oreal also says, you're right about that glue monster, calling it love stickiness. And I thought Power Rangers Zeo had some sort of innuendo. Remember when Rocky was turning into a plant? Yeah, definitely. Like, I definitely, and maybe that's just me in my dirty head, but I was just like, I feel like there's just so many bad sexual innuendos in here, man. Like, you got this glue monster just spewing out this white glue, calling it love stickiness. I'm like, that's not love stickiness as far as I know it, man. You've got the we need to call this mask be something else. Definitely not the glue mask. That's for sure. Yeah, that's right. Laurel says, when Takamichi spilled the beans, I was like, what the heck, Taka? That's right. I forgot that he actually came into the command center late, and he's the reason. Everybody else was doing a pretty good job, but yeah, leave it up to Taka to not be subtle whatsoever. He's like, Wonder Love, right? Or our Wonder Couple or something like that. That's definitely his catchphrase. You know, inspiration. Wait. Insparkalization is definitely Juru's, but anything wonder is definitely Taka's for sure. What's up, AJ? Appreciate you coming through, AJ. Thank you very much, man. L'Oreal says, Juru's quirky demeanor is very infectious. I hope that chick means what she says, but if she kisses Juru, I'm so gonna faint. Yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't try and throw in a quick peck there or anything like that. But yeah, if there is one thing about Juru, I'm definitely learning. Not only is he quirky, but super bashful. Like, he just doesn't take compliments well. I mean, homeboy's face just lights up, face gets all red and bright and things like that. But yeah, I definitely learned that from this week's episode. AJ says it's been a month since A Plus More Phenomenal. Feels like it though. A Plus More Phenomenal was just Saturday. It wasn't Saturday. It was like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. But I definitely get what you're saying. Alec even says we lost a lot of viewers since the changeover. Yeah, moving over to Facebook has not been easy, guys. It definitely has not been easy. Some people just don't have Facebook. So they just don't bother to come over there. YouTube is a big thing, unfortunately. There's just no other streaming services available for, for free at least, that you can kind of put your content up. So yeah, the fan base certainly hasn't carried over, I guess you could say, or the viewership certainly hasn't carried over from our YouTube page to here, but unfortunately, hopefully things will change, guys. I'll give you a little bit of a heads up here. This week I'm actually possibly thinking about relaunching a YouTube channel, but under A Plus More Phenomenal. I may in fact start that here this week. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's National Power Rangers Day or Power Rangers Day this weekend, and then the following week, I believe we've got Kamen Rider Saber that's going to debut also. So if anything, I may try and launch an A Plus More Phenomenal YouTube channel for this weekend, and kind of just start off from scratch. There are a couple of videos that I was able to save before it got our YouTube page got terminated and taken down. So if anything, maybe like on some Thursdays, maybe we'll do like Throwback Thursdays, and we'll post some of our old A Plus More Phenomenal episodes or interviews, whatever else that I did manage to save. But it's gonna suck, man. Like, all our Kiramager stuff is gone. Like, literally all our content from our YouTube page is no longer up there. It's been completely removed. I do have an external drive. It's about 1 terabyte. I've been putting a ton of old um, content on there, so I do have some old shows from back in the day. But yeah, like a lot of our Kiramager stuff, a lot of our Go Buster stuff is gone. All of our playlists of reviews from Ninja, guys, we had like 1,000, almost 2,000 videos on our YouTube channel, all completely gone thanks to YouTube, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to start all over again. So guys, I will say this: for this weekend, A Plus More Phenomenal will be back on Saturday. But if anything, it's probably going to be just on its on its own YouTube page. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted. If anything, maybe I'll do an announcement video here on Facebook first, to give you guys a heads up, and then launch it over the weekend. So definitely stay tuned for that. And again, we don't grow without your guys' help. So once we do start off this page again on our YouTube page, definitely counting on you guys to not only like our videos, but definitely share, so we can continue to grow our Power Rangers and Super Sentai community, because we are technically going to have to start all over again, unfortunately. Alex says, hopefully I didn't offend you. I kept my capitals on when I said no one should offend Mabushina. She's a cupcake. Yes, but Takemi, she learned not to get on her bad side. Oh yeah, I don't mind if you type in all caps. Now, if you're typing in all caps and you're cursing me out, then we'll have some words. But just typing in all caps, I'm perfectly okay, man. I'm perfectly okay. AJ says, "Is this episode during COVID?" All these episodes are going to be during COVID now. I feel like since episode 12 or 13 has been since COVID. I mean, you remember the episode that I was referred to you a long time ago about the idea of, like, I'm noticing people wearing masks and things like that. Ever since then, so probably like episode 14. I think they've probably been filming during the pandemic and things like that. So yeah, from this point on, filming during COVID. AJ says the stuntman inside Juro's costume must be like, what the F am I doing in this episode? You know, I did love the Marsk creature that like the glue Marsk threw towards Drew, and Drew turns its back and it like sticks to his back. I thought that was pretty funny, honestly. So yeah, if anything, maybe his stuntman in the costume was like, what is going on? AJ says you should do a quick Instagram live every Saturday morning or Friday night to remind people to come over, or Twitch. Yeah, I might end up doing that once we start. You know, I mean, I usually post the thumbnails on Instagram sometimes, letting people know what time we're going live. There is a link to the Facebook page in my in my in my bio on Instagram. So if anything, they definitely have the access to follow us. You know, I even post stuff on Twitter sometimes. I haven't recently, but I usually feel like I will post the thumbnail, a link to the page and the time and things like that. But it just depends. You know, Facebook, I feel like if we continue to do this on Facebook, it'll really will be to grow sort of the Facebook community side of things. But I don't really see too many people coming over from YouTube. Every once in a while, maybe some people will from Twitch, but that's really about it. Alex says you can get the alert pretty early here. Yeah, some people do. Some people do get the notifications. I know sometimes AJ, they're a little bit slow for him. Laura also says all in all, it was a pretty cool episode. Yeah, I thought it was a little decent episode. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to necessarily write home about, if you will. I love the picture of Juru, though. Yeah, I did too. I thought Kakihara's picture of Juru was pretty spot on, with his hair, how it comes over his, you know, his forehead and stuff, and the sparkles. I thought it was great. I thought it was great getting the opportunity to see how she views Juro at the end of the day. But guys, other than that, I think that's probably going to go ahead and do it for us here today. So thank you very much, everybody, for certainly joining us for our review of Kiramager episode number 20. Laurel says, sorry again for getting crazy. Hey, I know you got that Juro love. It's all right. It's all right. But other than that, guys, thank you so much. Again, we will be going live this weekend for A Plus More Phenomenal, so certainly stay tuned there. If anything, when we do go ahead and launch our YouTube page, we'll go ahead and certainly notify you guys here as well with an announcement video, so certainly go ahead and look out for that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your week, guys. I certainly hope you guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other as always, and until later on this week, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.